welcome to Naturally Timeless Photography. My name is Rich, and in this tutorial I'm going to show you how to change the eye color of your subject. Now, I picked this photo because I was zoomed in on the model's eyes. As you can see, I probably would not change it unless it's just for like some artistic reason, but her eyes look really nice, so I would leave them as is. But for this tutorial, that's what we're going to be doing. We're going to be testing out and just seeing how to change the eye color of our subject in case we want to do it for some kind of artistic value, or maybe we just want to make the model's eyes pop out a little more. So for this edit, I'm using the Luminar program. It's kind of like the equivalent of Lightroom, except it's backed with more AI editing. I'm not really a fan of AI, but I did want to have something that was a standalone license rather than paying a monthly fee. I think Adobe lost a lot of customers when they went and did that. But anyways, you can edit a model's eyes with multiple programs. I'll probably show you how to do it in another video using Affinity Photo. But it's fairly easy to do. But I am going to come down to the bottom here. I'm scrolling down, and under face, you're supposed to be able to, adjust the model's eyes and stuff through here. It just kind of brightens them, and it does a couple of things. But the AI software, this is a glitch in it. It does not recognize this as a face because it's only zoomed in on the eyes. So you can't even use the eye, editing tool here. So there's a lot of issues I find with AI software, that it's just, ethical issues upon other things. But anyways, so you won't be able to use the face tool when you're editing a photo like this. It's just kind of obnoxious. But anyways, we'll go back up to the top, and under color, if you left click that, you can do a little editing with this, and you could use the tool here as well to bring out certain colors and stuff. So we're going to start off with this one. I'm just going to click mask, and then I'm going to click on brush. And now, as you can see, it gives us a little brush like that. But if you have a pen pad, or I call them a pen pad, if you have a pad that you could draw on with your computer, it does make it a little easier, I think, because like this, it's just a solid circle. You can adjust and just kind of click within and try to get it the best you can, but you are going to go over the eye a little bit up here. So that is pretty good. And then I don't like that when you release the mouse, so I'm just left clicking on the mouse. But I don't like with this one, when you release the mouse, it disappears the color. You can't see what you've already painted. So it's kind of obnoxious. But when you click on the other eye, you could kind of see where you've painted. Now, to make this a little better, I'm going to go to the erase. And then I'm going to just left click and hold, and then go over the part of the eye that I do not want selected. And then that includes the white part of the eye. That way I'm just on the pupil. And you might have to go over a little more. And then I kind of did go in where I didn't want to, so I'm going to make this smaller. And come in here and just kind of correct the detail. Oops. And then I kind of messed up again. So go back to the eraser tool and just kind of paint over that. And that'll work. And then we're going to do the same thing here, and I've already kind of messed up. My hand shakes a little bit, so sometimes could be a little more of a task. So we just want to make sure that the pupil is all that is painted. And now that that's done, we go back to adjustments, just left click that. And now we could just play with these things. Do saturation, could make her eyes pop out a little more, make them a little more blue. You go this way, make them green. And if you ever are like way over here and you want to go back to 0, just double click on the little circle and you could just change this. So just doing this, you know, you could change the eye color to multiple colors. You just kind of play around with it until you get it where you want. And if you ever want to see what it looked like originally while you're editing, just come up to the eye here, left click and hold, and it'll show you what the photo looked like before and then after. Now, we could also do remove color cast, but I don't know. It's up to you what you prefer. I don't really care for that. So I'm going to bring all these back to what they originally were. And then I'm going to come down here to the HSL. And we're going to change the hue, but you have other options here, saturation and luminosity. And then with this, we could just change individual colors within the eye. So typically, her eyes are kind of more blue. I think there's some green in there. Maybe not. So this will only really affect what the eye color actually is at the time. So her eyes are blue, so that means you could change the color more so with the blue, as you could tell. And then let's see, there is a little purple in there. So yeah. So it just really depends on the color that you're trying to change. So mainly all that her eyes were blue, so, and then there was just a tad purple in there. So what I would do with this one is I would start out on the top here, adjust for the color that you want. Say maybe I want to go with a green. Let's see. I know there was more green in one of them. I guess that was it. Anyways, get the color that you actually want, and maybe we'll just go to a really bright purple. Kind of go to that. And make them really bluish, kind of a little purple in there. And then you could adjust this to change them to what you want. Maybe you want them a little brighter, a little greener. And then you can go also into the saturation. And remember the color was blue, so then you could change that to make them a different color. Then you could go into the luminous and change that as well to make them brighter or darker. Alright, so that is one way to do it in here. And, you know, just back this up, close this down, and now we're back to the original. But we can come all the way down to color harmony and do the same thing. We're going to add the mask, just go to brush, and then, like I said, if you have a pen pad, this would be much easier. It's kind of hard to do with just the mouse drawing. It's not as precise, but you could do it with a smaller brush like I'm doing, and then have less erasing to do later. Still came out a little bit there. Alright, that's good enough, and then we'll go to paint and do the same thing to this eye. And it does feel completely different, like painting with a mouse rather than the pen pad. If you can get one, I recommend it. I I'm just using the mouse right now because I didn't want to hook up my tablet, my little pad, but it like hurts my hand using the mouse. It's like trying really hard to just keep everything in there when you're holding just the pen on the pad and you're just drawing. It feels completely different. It's much easier. Anyways, now that we got the masking tool done, we'll go back to adjustment. And we can do a lot of things here. You have the split color, the color balance, all that in here. So we could start off with this and just kind of play around with that, see what it gives you. And then same with the warmth, we could see what colors we want. And I don't know, her eyes are already kind of, you know, they're blue, so I kind of like just adding a little more to it. So that's like overly done, and then we could adjust them out, and that just looks ridiculous. So we go back here. We can add a little and then just slide this over and see what happens. Gives it a little more brighter color, so that's all right. And this I know totally looks fake. Maybe you're doing some cosplay edits and you really want to change their eye color dramatically to look more like a comic book character. And this is kind of how you do that. But I like to keep things more where you can see the definition in the eyes. As here you could kind of see a lot more of the different colors. When I was moving this over, let's see, was it this one? Well, there's one of them that I was messing with, and it ended up taking away that definition. Now we could go down to color balance, and this is where we can change a lot more. So you can go into purples, you'd add more green, you add a little yellow to make it a different color. And personally, I'm wanting to go more like realistic, so I don't want to go too overboard. But I mean, you just play with these, and then you could go into mid-tones and change some of those. There's so much you could do with the adjustment layers within this particular program. But now let's go to highlights. And I'm not like really trying here. I'm not taking my time and looking at what I want. Normally I would be like, okay, I want the model's eyes to be green, so I'm going to go with a green, and I would adjust for that particular color. And as you can see, I kind of went to green. But I mean, you could make them look really cool, really artificial, so it does look more comic booky. But typically I would keep it something more simple, more realistic, kind of like that. And then I would say I'm done with this. So the before and the after. So I like it. It was just a quick little edit. I didn't take too much time, as you could tell, and I was just messing around with all the settings. What I like to do is before I edit a photo such as this one, I will have a plan. I either want the eyes to be, you know, green or blue or a purple, you know, or something completely out there that just looks completely fake, and I will know what I'm going to do beforehand. Then I'll go into the settings like I did, and I typically wouldn't use the top one. I mean, it's a little quicker if you use this one here under color. There's just not that many options. If I'm really wanting to fine tune it, I would come down here and select the color harmony under the professional section here. And it's very easy. I mean, you just do the masking and, you know, use the brush tool instead, and that works really well. Okay, so that was it. I hope this was helpful and gave you a little artistic idea of how to adjust or change the color of your model's eyes. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful day.